Got some good buddies with me, Justin and Garrett. We're going to go over some of the stuff they have going on, some of the stuff they have going with their race team. Um, just going to have a good time. Anybody that's interested, next month, September 20th, if you'll be in or around Tehachapi, California, they're doing a huge car show, Thunder on the Mountain. I'm going to drag the Jeep up there. I'm going to have a bunch of other buddies with some heavily modified Jeeps up there. Good time to come and hang out. I'll have probably one of my other builds that are up there done and finished, and that will be the official launch of my business, JM Fabrication and Design. So by all means, come join us, have a good time, have a couple beers with us, and let's get this done.
Cool. Sounds good. So, we've seen you on the forum for a while. We've been watching your build for a while. I'm seeing it right there behind you guys. Been drilling over it on the forums. Somebody's asking on the board. They're asking when. You want to repeat that again? Just the details on when that event is.
Yeah, September 20th, 2025, Tehachapi, California.
Cool. I know I'm screwing this whole thing up. I forgot the most important part.
We didn't. We're here. It's a soda pop. I promise.
A pop. Sure, sure. So cool. Like I said, we've seen you on the board for a while. But just kind of jump back a little bit. Tell us how you got into cars and off road.
So cars and off road, a lot of that stuff really started when I was young. My dad put me together a go-kart when I was about 6 or 7 years old, and it kind of grew from there. We ran the tires off of that go-kart. He built a Jeep years upon years ago. Of course, watching all the mag builds, watching all the guys do all the cool stuff, coming up when, let's see, top truck competition was around, or tough truck competitions were around, and then they launched the Ultimate Adventure, and that was all the inspiring stuff that gets you into it. And then, of course, you get older, you get your first vehicles, and then I went through my street vehicle phase. I had my drag car, and I had my street bikes and everything else, but off-road is where it's always been for me. So
Yeah.
once I had the chance, I started building with every opportunity, and I've done my share of Samurais and Jeeps, and now finally I'm building what I really wanted to do years ago.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time to build up to that level.
It does. It does. And it was hard watching all those shows disappear. I mean, you got Flex Rocks and Rollovers. Those guys do some pretty cool adventure kind of things like that.
Yeah.
It's always fun to watch those guys. But yeah, so you kind of mentioned it's kind of nice that now that we are all a little older, we can actually build the shit we want to build. Probably have a little better means. So that kind of, I guess, watching those things is what fueled your love for fabrication too.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of that stuff started when I was in high school. I did 4 years of welding and fabrication. We had a machine shop at high school, so I learned there, and then I joined the Navy. Ended up going through their nuke program, and then I ended up becoming certified as a nuclear emergency welder to weld power plants on submarines and ships. Lots of high intake stuff, specialty metals, and that grew into, after I got out, I got into building tunnel boring machines for the Robbins Company. So I ended up traveling
Damn.
all over the United States. We built them in Solon, Ohio. I was there for 7, 8 years. Put together a ton of machines, traveled all over the states, launching them, teaching crews. Got to live in India for a few months, got to live in Canada for a while, running some machines. That was pretty wild. Definitely different experiences to see other parts of the world, as compared to, I was on a sub, so
Yeah.
you don't really see anything. You just go out and come back to the same ports you're in. So
Nothing changes. You just go down below and you pop back up, and it's the same.
yeah, yeah. The only port call I ever got since I was on a boomer was Port Canaveral, Florida. So it
Gotcha.
wasn't exactly a exotic port to call, since it was 3 hours from home. So at the time,
Nice.
after that, I ended up working on Edwards. Now I do rocket research and testing. So
Nice. That's
it's
awesome.
been a good developmental career.
Awesome. Um, jealous of the welding skills, being able to do that kind of stuff. That's awesome. And I'm sure, I know for myself, thank you for your service. I know the way the board stands, I'll speak for them too. I'm sure everybody's, I can see them right now in the chat thanking you. Being proud of you there.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
I think we're kind
It's
of
just a job.
I think we kind of tested this last week to make sure that your Wi-Fi was going to work pretty good. I think sometimes keeps going in and out there. So, I know we kind of walked around your Jeep there. Why don't you show us some of that and go over some specs of what you're building?
Absolutely.
Let's pretend
Okay.
pretend nobody's seen the build thread.
Right. I'll flip the camera and I'll let Justin run it.
Okay.
All right. Justin, you have the gimbal.
I have the gimbal.
Okay, so it started life as what was left of a 56 CJ5. Really, all I started with was the cowl section up to and back past the doors. None of this has remained stock. I built the frame all out of box tubing. I actually stretched the doorways an extra 6 inches because the CJ5s are so short to begin with. Obviously now I'm working on the door skins and starting to build the doors, but did a typical hood cut, hood lift, cut the hood 3 inches, lifted it, built the highline fenders for it. It's 3-linked in the front, trailing arms in the rear. Currently running strapped about 17 inches of usable travel. And then in the front, I have about 13 inches of usable travel when it's strapped and the sway bars are disconnected.
I don't want to cut you off there, right in the middle of what you're saying, but do you have, is your phone connected to the Wi-Fi or cell right now? Because
It's hard to say. I'm on cell.
You're on cell.
Yeah, I think because last week we were getting crystal clear images, and that the work you've done there, just make sure it stands out.
Yeah, it's
My iPad.
okay.
And we'll set it up there, and you can just
Okay,
connect to the Wi-Fi off that.
cool. Hang on. Technical difficulties. We'll fix it here in a second.
Yeah, no problem. It's always something.
No, not on here. Okay. Let's see.
Usually when you flip over to it, it'll clear up that image real quick.
All right, give me 1 second and we'll be there.
If you gotta hop off and reconnect, that's fine too. Whatever's easiest. So just for everybody else, while we do these things, Josh was able to have his buddies Justin and Garrett come over, which is pretty cool because they were originally going to jump on the call with us. If you guys want to do these, we got a whole thread on the forums there. Just chime in when you're.
How's the video now?
It hasn't caught up yet.
All right, we'll give it a minute.
I don't
Sorry,
know.
Austin, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. Just filling space. So yeah, jump on there and chime in. Let us know what you got and some good times at work for you, and just kind of let us know what you're building. If you have just shit you want to show off, show it off. If you want to talk about a build, if you're stuck on something, you don't feel like going back and forth with 50 posts, let's set something up and we'll sit there and walk through it and we'll tell you how shitty your build is. Because you know everybody will.
How we doing? Did it get any better?
It's not. So I don't. The call may be hooked to your cell service still. I'm not sure. Like I can barely read those stickers there, but I can tell there's not an Irate 4x4 one there.
Well, I just got them, so.
That's all right. I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I don't know. If I'm struggling with LTE, I don't know what to do about it.
Gotcha.
That's a bummer.
Look like like.
Well, he.
Oh, sorry, I was reading
All
the
right.
chat.
Okay, well, we'll try this anyways.
Yeah, go for it. Or if you want, just try disconnecting real quick and reconnect and see if it picks up the Wi-Fi. Jump off the call and back on.
All right, we'll do that.
Whoa, who's that ugly guy? Not sure what it looks like for you guys down there, but it was definitely coming through a little choppy on my end. So he's done a lot of work on that Jeep. It's pretty badass. Definitely check out the high-res pictures in the build thread. So we'll let him jump back on, and hopefully he's got the good signal there.
Any better?
No, I think it's being stubborn using that cell service. That's okay though.
All right,
We'll just go with
we'll carry on.
So,
My LTE off, maybe. You can. Yeah.
anyway. While he's working through that, we'll have an announcement here on the forums and a day. Oh, there we go.
All right. Well, we tried.
Okay, that's fine. It's not exactly frozen. He's just playing with the phone settings right now, so we'll keep going. Go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay. So, no, anyways, 3-link front, trailing arm rear. It has a full custom fuel system in it. It's all
Yeah, now we completely lost you. Now it is frozen. You have to tell those guys in the background to stop surfing porn.
we did.
There you go. I just try that.
Is it back?
We're back. We can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I guess we're struggling today. Full stainless fuel system, full custom built aluminum fuel cell. Hard top has been stretched to match. I'm running full aluminum armor all the way around with aluminum fender flares. Managed to put, unlike other Jeep tops that are out there, I managed to put gull wing doors in all the way around. And then when the doors are finished, they'll have full roll-up windows in them, full aluminum skins. You notice in here I'm running a 6-liter LS2 drivetrain 6L80E, tilt column, removable wheel, twin stick Dana 300. It has full AC and heat in it.
Jealous.
Full stereo system. And then even, Garrett, stay on this side. So access for the coils. One of the nice things I tried to do for myself was to make sure I had access to the coils without having to pull them, so I can make adjustments by pulling the skins on the inside of the truck.
Yeah.
If you notice, to the back of the console, I'm running ducting completely through the console, so it has rear heat, AC, power ports, USB connections for all the stereo, everything.
Nice.
So you can even run it from the back seat. What else? Full custom stainless 2.5-inch exhaust with side dumps out both sides.
That's awesome. Like
Go
driving around a
BJ.
Cadillac out there in the trail. AC stereo. Oh, there we go. Nice.
Trying to make it nice. got to make it comfortable so when my wife goes, she's not miserable all the time. You know what
It just makes everything 10 times easier when you're happy.
I mean? Right? So, moving to the front. 8274, supplied by Justin and Garrett. Thanks, guys. Full custom bumper. I have jump pack power points front and rear for this thing, so you can just plug a set of jumper cables into it and run them from there. Has air bumps all the way around it. 14-bolt rear. I did go with a 10-bolt front to try to keep some weight down, but I did truss both axles. Remote reservoirs with adjusters on all four corners. Full Willwood brake system, Willwood calipers, crossover steering, and hydro assist on it. So I tried to keep it pretty well set up, but also streetable. So I'm still running a steering box. I didn't want to go full hydro because I did want to keep it street legal. I didn't want to run into a situation, you know, leaking line or something. And end up
Yeah, you guys, I hear you guys have some pretty crazy hoops to jump through anyway when you're trying to get things licensed out there in California. So,
well, the beauty of that is it was a titled tub, so it's a 56 tub. As long as it's pre-smog, anything prior to 75, there's not really a lot of regulation on it, so that really helps with that.
gotcha. That's cool.
It's one of the reasons why it's built out of a 56, because to keep stuff pre-smog, on smog inspections, you're not required to run. You know, there's no real exhaust restrictions. I mean, as long as you're running DOT tires and it's not completely obnoxious and it's plated, you're not going to have a lot of hard time.
Yeah. Nice. Did you say what size tires you're going to be running there?
So I'm currently on 37s, and that's kind of, I limited it to 37s in case I ever decided to put it in a race class. Though the cage right now is not to spec because it is a 1 3/4 versus a 2-inch cage. The last time I weighed it, I was at 4,416 pounds.
Okay.
So with everything on it, I'll probably be over 5, which would put me in a 2-inch tube category.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So that was one of the things. And I'm not running, like in the front, I'm not running full hoops. So when you come into the front, the entire, the whole tub is solid. So the entire cage, everything's removable. I've got stubs and shear points and everything, but the dash can come out without pulling the cage. The cage can come out without pulling the tub.
Nice.
The tub is tied through the firewall to the engine cage. Just a lot of details that contributed to a lot of the time on the build, because, you know, to make it a full body, even there's details that a lot of guys won't notice. In the rear of the tub, I narrowed the wheel wells 4 inches per side, and then I lifted the floor 2 inches so I could cram the suspension in here. You know, but it's something that when it's put together, you won't really see it, especially with the rear seat in here and an ice chest. And
right. I like it. So you got some adjustable seating there too?
Not just adjustable seating. So a great trick for you guys that are building crawlers and stuff is this E-track. So it's an aircraft E-track, and each anchor point, they're removable, movable, either spring-loaded or you have like bolt-in anchors. So I can adjust the seat, I can anchor it. Each anchor is rated 100 pounds.
Technical difficulty, my bad.
Operator error.
Those gimbals
There we go.
Okay.
can be good. There you go.
Yeah, so each anchor point's rated for 1,200 pounds, and it makes it really convenient because you can put a lot of stuff in a lot of different locations. Like even over in the corners, I add some more, so there's additional tie downs for fire extinguishers, power tanks, whatever happens to be.
Nice.
And then even when it comes to like the goalies and stuff, go ahead.
So you got a little blurry, but it looks like you may have some mounting points in there for belts that kind of move with your track. Is that what I'm seeing there?
Yeah, so there's the seat mounts are independent, so this can bolt anywhere on the track, and then the seat mounts will belt up with I'm running a 40-inch Corbeau rear bench for it, so it will have full seat mounts and belts in the back as well.
Gotcha. Cool. That's a great idea. I like that.
Latching mechanisms, everything, like even all the top, everything's set up for typical automotive bulb seal. Seals around the windows, so everything should be weather and wind tight. I tried to put a lot of thought into this thing to make it comfortable and manageable.
I love that. I love the way those raise up. That's nice. Oh, we got a handle on the inside too. Cool.
Yeah, everything's spring loaded, so it's passenger accessible. So anybody that crawls in the back doesn't have to be let out; they can let themselves out.
Cool. Nice.
I tried as best I could to set it up like a passenger car.
Yeah.
I don't know, 3-quart oil accumulator for the engine oiling system that I added on. It's an automatic fill and refill just for some added engine protection. Everything's been gone through. The Dana 300 is completely rebuilt. Both of the axles have been completely rebuilt after the entrust. Braking system is hardline with, I'm running, that's another good trick for you guys building cars, at least I think so, is to hardline everything you can and then run universal. I'm running 10-inch flex lines, stainless braided flex lines on all of the braking systems, so that way all of the flex lines are universal, so you only have to carry 1 or 2 spares in case you have a problem. Hang on, give me 1 second, right back. So one of the things that I did when I built the wiring loom, because I built the whole loom, is I built everything in sections. Everything is running sealed waterproof Deutz connectors, braided loom, and then everything is fire sleeved to anything that's going to be exposed to heat.
Oh, nice.
So when you're putting this stuff together, if I ever have a burned up section or something, I can yank the section out and just replace a section. So engine harness is a section, lighting supply is a section, dash supply is a section, brake lights, tail lights, that's a section, and everything comes out. Fuel lines are a separate section, or fuel pumps, sorry. When it comes to the fuel system, I'm running dual Summit pumps, and they're both on switches, so I can either supply, the way it was set up, I set it up to supply up to 1,000 horsepower, or I can supply 500 off of one pump, and then have a spare that if I do have a pump fail, I can turn that one off, turn the other one on, and I don't have to worry about a pump fail.
Nice.
So it's also, I put E85 sensors in it, it's E85 capable. Yeah, dude, there's a lot. I'm forgetting a lot because I've been working on it 4.5 years, so.
Yeah. So when you're laying out your wiring harness like that, 'cause that's something I'm gonna have coming up here before long. How do you so you got it very laid out, you got that very specifically built for all your existing stuff. How do you leave room for like expansion or something like that? If you decide you want to throw a winch in the back or some other kind of electronic in the back, do people typically like throw some extra wires in there just in case, or you pretty much just plan on having to redo the whole?
You can. I didn't do any on mine because I'm actually running, since I'm running those winch plugs front and rear. If I want to put a winch in the rear, it's just a simple receiver with just like the jumper cable connection, I can just plug it in. So I've set that up. I'm actually running, this is set up for a 7-pin trailer plug as well. So I have power, I have extra blinkers, I have a whole extra harness, everything is already built into the car. So I really tried to account for all of that like it was a factory production car.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you wanted to expand, yeah, you would kind of be stuck, at least where I am in this, that I would have to strip the wiring harness out and then add extra wires and then reloom it,
Gotcha.
which isn't a terrible thing. I'm sure you guys have seen that, the braided like split loom
Yeah.
that you can just wrap and then tape into place and then still maintain the same look. The hardest thing to get on this stuff was definitely this fireproof sleeving. This takes a lot of time to install, but the added security was a big deal for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing worse than trying to track down some stupid little electrical bug because something semi-melted. No, just electrical
Yeah,
bugs in general.
everything. No, there's no doubt. I've tested. I've tried to go through in any section that I put in. Once everything's plugged in, I've hooked it up to a 12-volt battery, check the switches, check the connections, make sure everything functions like it's supposed to before moving on to the next section. So in the end, hopefully when I plug everything back in, it works, you know. It's
Right.
it's the hope.
Right.
No guarantees, but it's the hope.
Right. Very cool. Dig it. Yeah, like I said it several times. The link to this build is in the description here below the video. So definitely go check that out. Follow along. And when he doesn't move fast enough, tell him to move faster. Give him some encouragement.
Right. I'm going as fast as I can.
No, I hear you.
So I don't know, you guys. That's what I got. You guys want to look at like shop setup, some of the tooling that's helped along the way, because
Yeah.
there's definitely, I mean, a lot of the stuff that I've done obviously it's all by hand, but without the tools, you just can't. You're not going to get as far.
Right. Yeah. No, tell us about your shop setup and that kind of stuff. What you got and how it's kind of leading into your business development there.
Okay, so I've set this up kind of as a 2-bay setup to where I do have a lift. I do want to put a 4-post lift in on the side where the Jeep is. So that way I can do multiple types of service. 4-post lift will let you do some services that a 2-post won't. I'm tabled up. I've got tables inside, tables outside. A lot of the times I end up working off of, obviously in too many projects. I got an XR400 that I'm working on putting together, but I've got a 4x4 table in here that I work off a lot on as my main table. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is a great thing. A great setup for your vices is to plate your vices. Use some 2-inch by 1/4 tube, square tube, and then set up with some receiver hitch material so you can put your vice on any corner, flip it sideways, flip it upside down. If you have odd holding stuff, that it really helps with a lot of that stuff, especially vertical stuff. It's tall, to be able to take the vice out, flip it sideways, and then chain it up. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
The other thing, like underneath of my table, I've set up a convenient place. Like a lot of the fasteners that I use, I keep them in a top drawer. Keep some of the build things for the Jeep that I need access to, and then all of my grinding stuff is easily accessible. But it's all underneath. I built it all underneath the bench with leveling feet, so that whatever you're working with, you can level the table wherever it's setting and have it ready to go. And then around the edges and sides, I've built in storage for all my seat clamps, vice grips, stuff like that. A big help for, especially if you have a small shop or a garage, a worthwhile investment if you're doing any sheet metal stuff is a Beverly shear, because it's a throatless shear. You can cut angles on it. You can cut circles with it. You can cut straights with it. Of course, you got to work at that a little bit more to keep the straight lines on it, but it doesn't take up a lot of space as compared to like a big stomp shear or something. So if you're limited on space, a Beverly shear will definitely help you out.
Nice.
Sheet metal stuff, everything in here is pretty much set up on wheels, so that since I am in a limited space, because granted I'm bigger than a 2-car garage, but I'm not in a 40 by 60 or a 40 by 80 shop. So I'm in a 36 by 40, so I'm still limited in space. So I have like a machine and equipment corner. I have my toolboxes in another corner. Of course, I have my lift, but then I have the stuff that's on wheels. Like I've got a shot bag, so this is for forming, doing forming sheet metal. This is like my sheet metal workbench, shot bag, planishing hammer, a hand bead roller with a table. I've got my tube bender and my saw set up on another table so I can roll this around. If I need open space, I can roll it into the other bay and use it. I ended up going with a Rogue Fab unit because they take up less space in a shop.
Yeah.
Because you can do a vertical bend versus a horizontal bend, so you don't have to have as much room in a shop to run a vertical bender versus a horizontal.
Right. So you
Chop saws and stuff and dies. Go ahead.
you touched on earlier all the different types of welding you were doing in the service there. What are your go-to machines?
Go-to machines. So for guys that are looking for a lot of value, I ended up going Miller for my MIG machine.
Okay.
It's just let's see, it's a 211 Miller-matic, so that's nice, auto set. So that makes things convenient running hardwire. I'm running a lot of hardwire. But one of the best values in machines, I think, today has definitely been this Everlast setup. So this is a Power TIG 250 EX setup with a water cooler. If you're going to go TIG, I really feel like you need a water cooler. It makes things so much easier. Your torches don't get hot. You're not burning up lines. You're not struggling to run high amperage. And with 250 amps, I've never found this thing to like run out of torch. I don't have to struggle. I can do heavy wall stainless up to an inch. Of course, that's not in a single pass. You're doing multiple passes, but I've done up to an inch thick wall thickness with this machine. Typical foot pedal setup, but as compared to like the major manufacturers, Miller, Lincoln, ESAB, the base unit TIG, I think, was around $2,500 plus a $400 water cooler. So you're into it for about $3,000 versus a Miller that you're going to be in it for 8 to 12.
Yeah. Gotcha. No, it's not.
And one of the nice things about this machine is all the torch settings that you don't get with some of the basic Millers. It comes with a finger trigger. It comes with a foot pedal. You have digital readouts, DC machine, high frequency start, lift start, post flow, pre-flow, post flow, stick settings for all your dig, your balance for doing AC, frequency. All of the settings are on this machine, and they come included with this machine as the base machine versus a Miller that you're going to have to pay for the upgraded machine. So that's been a huge advantage.
Yeah. Nice. Nice.
For shrinker stretchers and sheet metal brakes are a must-have for taking on major body or sheet metal projects.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I'm running a little lathe right now, which is a little undersized for what I usually like to do, but a little 6 to 9 inch lathe that you can usually pick up for $750 to $1,000 for making bushings, round stock, being able to chuck a bolt up if you need to, run a center bore for a grease channel, something like that. Having a little lathe handy it just makes things so much easier.
Nice.
Highly recommend that, and at least a good drill press. If you notice, like over here, I do have a mill that's set up in the corner, but even having a good drill press with a mill vise on it to where you can run a mill vise on it and still do some light milling on it is a huge advantage, especially for a small shop.
Yeah. Nice. What'd you do for the 3-phase on your mill there?
Say again?
What'd you do for is that mill 3-phase or no? Is that,
Oh, yeah.
that it was, yeah.
So I'm running up to 5 horsepower American rotary setup. So single phase. You can build them. It was easier for me at the time to just buy one.
Yeah.
So I bought the American rotary box, and then you use an electric motor to create your third phase.
Yep, gotcha. Cool. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, nice.
And then I've got plugs all the way around the shop so I can run welder plugs from almost any corner of the shop to make it easy. You know, if I have to run something outside, and then I have a running another like 50 cord, so I can go about 50 feet out the driveway if I need to with any of my
Gotcha.
plug-in accessories.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's been super convenient. It's a really great setup, at least for me. Of course, you always want a bigger setup because you always run out of room, you always run out of shop.
Yeah, it's never
But
enough. I know how it goes.
it's never enough.
Even when you think you go too big,
Even when, yeah, it's full.
you always
Way
fill it.
faster than you think it is. Of course, the advantage of having a bigger shop would be, like right now, I don't have enough room to set up my, like my pipe racks, my tubing racks, and my sheet metal racks. I don't have enough room in here to do that. That would be the advantage of a better shop, bigger shop, because then I wouldn't have to store stuff outside and have tubing, if it's not used, exposed to the elements. Because even out here in the desert, stuff still ends up rusting up just sitting outside.
Sure. Awesome. Oh, you got side
Yeah,
by,
well.
you got side by side there too. Did you play around in those?
Actually, it's Justin and Garrett. So I'll jump over to them and they can kind of tell you about their current setup and what they got going on with the race team. So yeah, go for it, guys. You're in the picture.
How's it going? I'm Garrett Knight. We have a side-by-side Uncle Larry, 1000 Premium 2020. I do have a new build on the forum. I'm the one currently building the 1600 car.
You're not in frame, Garrett.
That's to be, what is it, 1617 racer.
G Knight 1617.
Oh, your form name. Okay, G Knight 1617. I'm 1617 crew chief. I'm the old man. We kind of started the race team back in 2020. And it wasn't intended to be a race team by any means. It was Garrett's senior year in high school, and he was bored and wanted to do something. So we started doing yard work, and we picked up a sand rail.
Oh, they couldn't see you. You were a shadow before.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
We had picked up a sand rail, and
It was an old high jumper frame. It was a high jumper 2. What is it called?
which was a really cool car. And the more we got to building it, we could not get the fiberglass seats above the bottom of the frame. So for the sand, it would have been a great car. But as the desert where we like to play, you really would have taken a chunk out of your backside the first rock you hit.
Yeah.
So we got rid of that car, picked up some quads, dirt bikes, played with those for a little while. Decided we wanted to get back into a like a 4-seat car. So Garrett threw some feelers out on a race page here in California, and we ended up with a 4-seat Chenoweth and brought that home. He paid for the whole thing, doing yard work, and we started building it. And if my wife asked, it was only about $500 worth of stuff, but $50,000 later, we had finished the car, and neither one of us had ever welded. Neither one of us had ever done any fabrication. We started throwing high-dollar stuff at it, and we really didn't know what we were doing. But the guys that we bought it from were racers. They'd been racing their whole life. The particular gentleman had raced the Baja 1000 9 times and won it in a Class 11 car.
Damn.
So we got to be pretty good friends with them, started going to all the races. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Who was that?
Dave Hendrickson's his name.
Okay.
So we got to be friends with them, and we started hanging out and going to all the races, and while we're building this other car, and we were playing pit crew, and then a car came up local for, I think it was $1,000 for the chassis. So in the midst of building this other car, we bought another single seat 1600 car, and that one got kind of put on the back burner while we started building our first race car. So first race car, it was a learning experience. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We bought that car right at the end of 2021. Little like a month before Christmas, we bought that car. It took us about a year to build it. The very first race we ever raced was Snore Series at Rage at the River. Was the very first race in
Laughlin.
My very first time driving a 1600 car, other than testing out here, we tested it maybe for a night, just getting it together. It was kind of a rush thing. We didn't quite understand the whole thing of prep goes a long way,
Yeah.
but we ended up getting it done the week before the race. We ended up taking it out a couple nights before, and just to get the drive and learn how to drive it. Very first time driving a race car that had a stick shift in it.
Yeah.
They run a Volkswagen 1600 engine, a little 4-cylinder. The transmission is a 002
Yeah,
or
fellas.
091 bus transmission out of a VW bus. So that was definitely a learning experience, how to be able to race in the desert with an H pattern.
Yeah. I bet.
So the very first race we did, I ended up ripping the skid plate off the entire back half of the car. I ended up cracking the sump plate on the bottom of the engine. Didn't have any issues the entire race until we ended up parking it, and it just started dumping oil. We ended up trying to figure out how to get the car back together. That night, we ended up spending 4.5 hours trying to get parts and putting it back together.
Nice. This is
Got it all back together.
the one you're talking about now. Is the one that's on the forum now, or was this a previous?
No, this was a different car that we ended up getting.
Okay.
So the car that's on the forum now, we actually traded that big 4-seat, which the way we set it up, we never could put any seats in the back because they would have had to been like 5-year-olds, and
It's, yeah.
at the time my 5-year-old wasn't ready for that stuff.
Yeah.
So it was set up with a tank. It was an all mild steel frame car, so we could never race it. We ended up going coilovers, but we actually traded that car for the one that you see on the forum now.
Cool. I'll throw the links to that up there too in this same video. But we should probably do another shop night out there looking at that thing.
Absolutely.
That'd be
I'm
great.
down for it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That's cool.
But
That's a fun class to watch for sure.
in the process of all, let's go back up just a little bit. So this whole build was done in a 2-car garage, and that's all we had. It's a 2-car garage. Everything, all our normal driving cars lived outside, and we had a mess of the garage, and it smelled up the house, and mom loved it.
I'm sure.
Every time the garage door opened, there was some smell coming straight into the kitchen that she didn't like. But
That's funny. Get that freshly opened that axle oil, that burned up axle oil, but it smells good.
yep.
Oh yeah.
So, but we had bought this green car and got that, so we raced Laughlin. That was the first race. The second race was Glen Helen, and the end of Saturday, Glen Helen, California, down by San Bernardino. It was a 2-day race. He comes in Saturday afternoon with both front shock towers just completely blown off. Shocks were bent. So we started making phone calls, and we found a found a guy down at Temecula. He had the shocks. He said, bring the car down here. We'll fix it. So we literally threw the car on a trailer, washed the mud off of it, took it down to his shop, and spent the next 13 hours completely rebuilding the front of that car. Because we had a race at 1 o'clock the next day. And we showed up at 12:30
Right at 12:30.
on Sunday
Right as they were staging.
for staging, pulled the trailer off the car. We had sent him to bed at some point while we finished it up. And he jumped in the race and ran. And Glen Helen's known for ever changing. So there was one particular rock that took out 4 cars that year. But we had completely bent the torsion housing. But somewhere along the way, we're not sure when that happened, but after that, something caused the electronic steering. So if you're ever dealing with electronic steering, if you lose voltage, it does weird things. And we found that out even on our Razor. Without that power steering, I mean, it'll just turn for no reason. So it did. It dumped them in a hole upside down. My favorite radio, and we'll throw out Rugged Radios. One of our biggest sponsors is Rugged Radio. Richard Harding with HPR down in Murrieta. He takes care of us pretty well.
Nice.
But I get the call on the radio from Garrett. Dad, I'm upside down. I'm okay. Don't wait for me. And that was it. Well, we finally found him, and because of where the car was, we had to wait till the end of racing for the weekend to be able to go get the car. And it was upside down in a hole, and thankfully Garrett was all right.
They ended up having to pull the car out with a skid loader.
Oh,
It was the big old skid loader at the top of the hill. The car went down in the canyon about 8 feet off the race course. They ended up having to pull this thing out. They luckily flipped it over trying to get it out the very first time. But after they couldn't get it out, they ended up just leaving it there until the end of the weekend. And then they ended up having to go back with the giant skid loader to be able to pull it out.
Damn. That's crazy.
So we get that car home,
What's that?
and it's done. The torsion, we had to cut parts of the chassis apart to get the transmission out.
Oh, damn.
So we decided, we actually cut that car in half. And someday it's gonna get mounted on the wall in the shop. And we might be able to show it to you if we ever,
Yeah.
the next time we make it.
You have to share some of these stories when we're looking at that. That would be cool to see on the wall, though. That'd be neat.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Josh,
So in that, we ordered a brand new car.
nice.
So we've been waiting about a year and a half on a brand new car, and it's almost done. M&T Racing out of Barstow, good guys. They work full-time jobs, and they're doing this basically on the side.
Got it.
And they also did my drive shafts. So,
Okay, cool. Yeah, because you guys aren't very far from Barstow, right, Josh?
no, about 45 minutes. I'm about 45 minutes or
I
so.
think it was 35, 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Tell us, so, I
So-
mean, there's one place obvious that comes to mind, but tell us about some of the, what kind of off-roading stuff there is down there besides the big obvious hammers.
Yeah,
What else
well,
you got you can get around and putz around in?
oh, absolutely. So, King of the Hammers is, I'd say about an hour and a half away, maybe a little more. Johnson Valley, of course, it's the mecca for most of the forum, but as far as Southern California goes, there's a lot of untapped potential out here. From my house, you can go, I mean, really off-road from here to Vegas,
No shit.
if you wanted to, and you're only crossing pavement.
You could drive all the way from here to Laughlin as well. You could
Yeah,
go all the way to Laughlin on the Hobby Trail.
There's a lot of availability. North of us, anywhere north of us, there's everything from Randsburg. I don't know if you guys have heard about that. It's a living ghost town. Great place to go hang out. There's a cool little dive bar there that's been around since the turn of the century. It's still, when I say living ghost town, you walk in, it looks like something basically off of a movie set from the 1800s with dirt bikes. There's a lot of permanent residents in the town that live out there, and it's still a mining town.
Jawbone,
there's-
Jawbone, Dove Springs.
Yeah, so just a ways away from that, you have Jawbone, which is another open riding area. You have Dove Springs, which is an open riding area. There's hundreds of miles of trail just in this area. Of course, you know, you're talking September, October through March, April, before it starts really getting hot and kind of miserable, but there's access to the backside of Death Valley, which doesn't get a lot of traffic compared to regular Death Valley. You can drop in through Trona, you can see the Searles Valley, there's other ghost towns out there, everything from the Barker Ranch is it's a fun wheeling trip. I don't know if that's familiar, but that was where Charlie Manson hid out for a few weeks while he was run. But you can wheel all the way back into the Barker Ranch. That's actually on Death Valley National Park. A lot of really good wheeling and trails up that way. So anything from gnarly rocky stuff to mild trail riding and a lot of good scenery. As you head up the valley through 395, some of the best scenery that I would say is available on the West Coast until you get into the Rubicon area is all along 395.
Get up into the Alabama Hills, Lone Pine.
Lone Pine, Alabama Hills is beautiful. Mount Whitney, the tallest mountain in the lower 48, is a little over 100 miles from us. You have, on the other side of Lone Pine, you have the Reward Mine. It's the only mine in the western United States that you can drive a car almost a half a mile back in the mountain.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's pretty cool. So
There's a lot of mines.
yeah, there's a
Talc
ton of
mines.
mining in this area all the way up through like not Bridgeport.
What were they mining down there?
Everything from gold and silver to tungsten,
The talc mines.
talc mines. The largest open pit mine in the United States is a few miles from us. That's U.S. Borax. It's a very mineral rich area in general. Another good destination around us is the Burrow Schmidt Tunnel, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump from us. You can go. It's just a fun stop, good beer stop. You can get out. Kids can walk about a half a mile through the mountain and come out on the other side. The guy spent 30 or 40 years digging it by himself to create a path, a quicker way to get from Death Valley and the Eastern Sierras down to the train station at Mojave. And by the time that he finished, some of the other roads and highways went in and it was obsolete. So it was a futile venture, but it's still a cool place to stop and visit.
Another place,
That's cool.
you know, we mentioned Barstow. Barstow's like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
But Barstow is world class for their racing. Has been for years. Me and Garrett have actually, we were pit crew for Trophy Truck 2 years in a row now. The Twisted Monkey crew out of Barstow. Yes, please. But King Shocks, Brett King's also another one of our sponsors. And every Wednesday you get, they're out testing in Barstow. So that's where King goes. Going back to Ultra 4, a lot of the Jeep guys, you got Lauren Healy that came into the Broncos scene.
Right.
Lauren comes to Barstow to test with Fox. He does a lot of testing in Barstow, a lot of testing out of Johnson Valley. But Barstow is where everybody goes to test. You can go out there on a Wednesday and you will find 9 Terrible Herbst trucks all out there testing.
And I will say, that, no. So, as far as the rock crawling scene goes, for the guys that want to get into some crawling, you know, especially wintertime crawling where the Rubicon's shut down, or you're coming from eastern states, stuff like that, and you want to try the West Coast out, but you can only get out in the wintertime. Calico, the area in and around Calico has some of the best rock crawling outside of Johnson Valley that I've seen that's south of the Rubicon. There's mines to check out, there's waterfalls to climb, there's some gnarly trails to run, and well, if you look at the bottom of my side by side, you can drag a few skid plates off too, but
Nice.
Well, Mac, just what, 35, maybe 40 minutes south of us, you got El Mirage.
yeah.
El Mirage, they used to do a lot of land speed out there. It's just like Bonneville.
Gotcha.
I've been out as a younger, out watching them do land speed stuff. But there's a lot of riding out there as well.
Oh, yeah. And if you want to go real south, you can always go to hit like the Imperial Sand Dunes and Glamis, and it's a whole different type of wheeling, but it's an experience if you've never done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely check that out. I'm jealous of you guys down there having so many places to ride. We don't have that much here in flyover land
I would
in Mid-America.
within 2 hours, we can go from dirt to trees to sand to rocks,
Oh, yeah.
pretty much,
Or snow,
or snow.
depending upon the
Anywhere
time.
you want to
Yeah.
go.
As you head up 395 too, I've tried to, there's a few guys on the forum that we're pretty good friends, and we've talked about putting some trips together farther up 395 to hit like the Mammoth Mountain area and June Lake. There's hundreds of miles of trails up there, and they're some of the most beautiful trails I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's all high Sierras, you know, pines, but it's all volcanic, so you can literally wheel from hot spring to hot spring, go see an obsidian dome that has literally been pushed out of the earth by a volcanic activity, drop over the next hill into giant sand bowls, and then hit a giant lake in the span of an hour and a half.
That's awesome.
It's one of the best places I've ever been for wheeling. I love it.
That's awesome. Cool. So we kind of touched on it maybe just a hair earlier, but you were talking about how you were getting ready to fire up a new business there. You want to talk anything about that? Or are we keeping it in our pocket for a little bit?
Sure.
You don't
So Longton Jam Fabrication and Design. It's just a small LLC, obviously a one-man show. Though I do get help on occasion when I need it. But it's going to be fabrication based on mostly classic four-wheel drives. Though I do have in my back pocket, I'm working on some long travel stuff for some of the side-by-sides, though that's still in design phases. So if you need classic four-wheel drive stuff done from mild to wild, obviously I can handle any of the fabrication from anything from lift kits and motor work, anything from old carbureted four cylinders, carbureted V8s to LS platforms, computer installations. The only thing that I really don't do is tuning. Welding and fabrication, sheet metal work, heavy tube. That's where I'm going to focus a lot of my energy, but I do carry certifications for any heavy fabrication and piping systems up to and include specialty metals. So
Nice.
So making a nice screen door for his wife.
along with making nice screen doors for my
Security screen door that no one's getting through.
And when we make it over to our shop, like we can showcase some more of his stuff. It's just something simple, but there's not a better looking Baja Bug front bumper on the market.
Yeah.
Built it for a tilt front hood, and that's another one of our projects is a 69 Baja Bug that I've got showcased on the forum as well.
Cool.
It's going a little bit slower than we liked, but
Yeah,
that front bumper was done by, Josh and JM Fabrication.
nice. I know how.
Yeah.
I'm definitely familiar with the slowness. Mine's been taking effing forever. I need to.
Part of the nature.
Yeah.
Sometime.
I need to hit you up on the forums and talk about some of that specialty welding.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't want to take time here, but I got to figure out how to weld the spring steel, kind of. I don't know how you do that, if you do that.
Well, we can cover it, but a lot of that comes back into heat treatment.
Is it?
So you'd have to do annealing first, and then do your welding, and then go back in, typically re-anneal, and then harden.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll hit you up on the forums. I don't want to get too distracted, but I need to figure out how to do that.
Absolutely. Here to help.
You mentioned, I don't know if it was during the test, when we were just testing out the Wi-Fi and that, but something about 2 quarts of oil and a pumpkin. What was that?
Okay. All right. So,
Around her.
you're right. Go drag it in for a second. So, well, it's kind of a long story, but bear with me anyway. So, it unfortunately started with the divorce from my ex-wife, but at the time, much like this one, I had acquired from a guy down the street a Honda 110 three-wheeler that it wasn't running, it was missing a gas tank, it was missing plastics. It was a piece of shit. Sorry, excuse me.
No, you're fine.
And I spent a couple weeks working with the kids. I was excited to show it to the kids, get it running, be able to take them out when I was in Ohio building tunnel boring machines, to take them out and do a little trail riding. I mean, there's not a ton of public area out there, but there is some great trails and there is some stuff you can get into, especially on, dirt bikes and quads and things like that because of the trees. And ended up, it was right around Halloween, maybe 10 or 15 days before. And so the morning I got it running, a buddy ended up calling me and he asked me, guess what I got in the back of my truck? I don't know, dude. I don't know. You'll have to enlighten me. It says, I got a 50. I'm like, a 50? Like, are we talking rifles or motorcycles? I said, no, I got a 50 motorcycle. A child's motorcycle? Yes. So he says, I'm coming over. I'm like, well, good, because I just got this three-wheeler running. Come over. So he comes over, and he does. He has a 50 in the back of his truck, and he's like, let's go riding. It's like, okay. So I grab my backpack. Granted, I just got this thing running. I throw 2 quarts of oil in my backpack. I don't have working headlights. I don't have, anything. It's literally a three-wheeler with 3 tires, a running motor, and a gas tank that I managed to scrounge up on eBay. So we go out to this place, and it was called the Brickyard near Wadsworth, Ohio. And there were probably 40 or 50 miles of trails through this old abandoned brick factory and brickyard that you could go cruise around. They had 4-wheel drive trails, they had motorcycle trails, they had all kinds of stuff. So before we went out, we stopped by the store, we grabbed some 6-pack of beer, a couple buzz balls, threw those in the backpacks, and my buddy had the foresight, he threw a headlamp and a flashlight in there, and this will play in later. So we're out cruising around, and it's almost Halloween, and we stumble on a wild pumpkin patch. Like, no bullshit. There's not a whole lot of pumpkins out there. There's probably 30 or 40 pumpkins growing wild in the middle of the forest. I thought, well, what a cool thing for the kids, I got a wild pumpkin from a wild pumpkin patch, so I pick it up and I throw it in my backpack that they can carve later. I was like, this is going to be cool. So we're out cruising around and we spend the day goofing off, having a few beers, having a good time, cruising up and down, 50 miles worth of trails. And it starts to get dark. And my buddy whips out a headlamp and a flashlight and he's like, "We don't got to quit." Okay. So I don't know if you've ever been to Ohio, but or in Tennessee, if they have a lot of, or Missouri, if they have a lot of drive-through liquor stores, but they have a lot of drive-through liquor stores in.
Yeah.
So we throw our headlamps on, we're out of beer, so we run through the nearest drive-through liquor store to just run through it, grab a couple beers, and then go back out and goof around on the trails. So we're out there, we're goofing around on the trails, having a couple more beers, and his flashlight starts to die. This is where it all goes bad. So he's like, "Come on, we'll go down to the pharmacy. It's just down the block, and we'll grab some batteries." Well, meantime, turns out it's 10:10 p.m. They close 10 minutes before. He's like, "Okay, well, we'll go across the street and there's another place." I'm like, "Dude, we should not be riding down the sidewalk on these things after having a couple beers already in town. This is a terrible idea." No, it's just right here. We can hit that next store and then we'll turn right and we're right back in the woods on another set of trails. Okay. I really don't want to get arrested tonight, but okay, let's go. So we end up riding to this other store and they have batteries, by God. And we get our batteries and we leave and everything's fine. We come out of there, we turn right, we go right down a short road, and sure enough, by God, there's a whole nother trail system that you could jump on, and we were going to ride around another couple hours, have a good time. And about 300 yards into the trees, he looks at me and he goes, "I forgot my gloves at the convenience store." I said, "And?" "I need to go back and get them." "No, you don't. We weren't supposed to be there. You want us to go back to where we weren't supposed to be to get the things on the things where we aren't supposed to be when we already were, where somebody probably called the cops." "No, it'll be fine." Okay.
Not fine.
For the record, this is a terrible idea. And so we ride back over there. He grabs his gloves and he's all excited, and I see a cop car pull up to the driveway across the street. I look at him and I go, "Told you. This is not going to end well." He's not going to chase us, is what Greg was telling me. He's not going to chase us. Yeah, he is. As soon as we leave, he's just waiting for us to leave because he hasn't left yet. So as soon as we start moving, of course, he pulls out behind us, and I look behind me, and my buddy's gone, and I'm on a slow ass 110 3-wheeler. I'm not getting anywhere fast. So he abandoned me, that asshole, and cop pulls up next to me, and this is where it gets real funny. So I had to give the backstory to get to the real funny part. So cop pulls up next to me, and he asked me where I'm going. I said, "Well, I'm going back to the woods." He said, "Can we have a conversation?" And I said, "Do I have to?" Yeah. "Well, then I guess we can have a conversation, can't we?" "Well, pull over in this parking lot over here." So I pull over in the parking lot. And the first thing I ask him is, I said, "Is this a traffic stop?" And he says, "No." Okay. In Ohio, if you have a concealed carry license, you have to identify it at a traffic stop. So I had my concealed carry with me because we were out in the woods. You never know what you're going to run into.
Right.
So I don't identify that I have a firearm because he said specifically, after being asked, it was not a traffic stop. So we're talking, and it goes back and forth, and he starts grilling me. "Well, where'd your buddy go?" I'm like, "Dude, I don't know. He was behind me and you were behind me. You had a better view than I did. You tell me." And of course, he got flustered and whatever. And fine, it's now a traffic stop. Okay, well, since it's now a traffic stop, I need to inform you that I do have a concealed carry license and I do have a pistol. Of course, then, you know, he kind of gets a little dodgy. And I tell him where it is, and we take it out, set it on top of the cop car, and I give him my license and stuff. We're bullshitting, and he's really grilling me. He's like, do you have a job? Are you out trying to rob people tonight? Because you're dressed, you know, in dark clothing. You don't have headlights going. I'm like, dude, we were just out having a good time. And to be frank, I really don't know exactly where I am right now because I'm not familiar with this area. My buddy lives over here. And speaking of that, where is your? I'm like, dude, I don't know. So he starts going through this grilling process and whatever, and he's getting really aggravated with me. And he looks at me and, oh, well, if you're not stealing stuff, well, what's in the backpack? So I just start busting up. And I'm like, well, it's funny you should say that because I got 2 quarts of oil and a pumpkin in my backpack. And he just looks at me and he goes, what do you mean there's 2 quarts of oil and a pumpkin in your backpack? I'm like, well, I just got this stupid thing running today, so I threw 2 quarts of oil in here. We were out cruising around wheeling and we stumbled across a wild pumpkin patch, so I thought it'd be a fun thing for my kids to have a wild pumpkin to carve in. So I threw it in my backpack. So he asked me to open the backpack, and he does the typical cop thing, you know, and he's like, open it real slow. Okay, so I open it real slow, and I open it up, and I pull out a pumpkin, and then I pull out 2 quarts of oil, and he just shakes his head, and he's like, really, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, really, dude, we were just out for a good time. We were just out cruising around, cruising fire roads, just goofing off, trying to let off some steam, not causing no trouble. And so then we have a conversation, you know, and he's relaxed and everything's cool. And, well, I tell you what, put all that stuff back in your backpack, and here's your pistol back, and I don't know where you're trying to go, but if you're headed that way, let me tell you, there's a traffic stop down the way. I wouldn't leave for another 20, 30 minutes.
Oh, nice.
if you're gonna try to ride this thing back to the house.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you go tonight. I'm not gonna take a shit or nothing. So it ended up working out that 2 quarts of oil and a pumpkin saved my ass. Because if you can make them laugh,
Yeah.
props sometimes help. It goes a long way. So, yeah, 2 quarts of oil and a pumpkin.
That's hilarious. Those are the best stories there. Just enough to throw them off guard and get some kind of other side conversation going. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Some of the best times. Some of the best times in my life have been on a 3-wheeler.
Yeah. Yep. That was my first. I had a 50. That was my first thing as a kid. Ever wheeling was a 50. This place here called Lesterville we used to go down to. And I'll never forget flying around on those, and our good family friend, when they would come down, the kid would bring. He had a 3-wheeler too, and then one day they were like hours late getting down there. I was bored by myself with just my parents. I'm like, where's Danny? I need Danny to ride with. And they're like, oh, they're picking up a new toy for him. They brought it down, and the trailer pulls up, and I'm like, this fucking thing has got 4 wheels on it. Like, what the hell is this? This is stupid looking. Why a 4-wheeler? No, they're 3-wheelers. This is so stupid. But yeah, man, those were a blast. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Is there a lot of people?
Riding double on a 70, we ran all over.
Yeah.
So you see people out flying around down there in the desert in those too?
Every once in a while, I actually not too long ago got rid of a 250R that I rebuilt from the ground up. You see them more in the sand than you do in the dirt anymore.
Yeah.
Because people are trying to not be so hard on them. Because Well, there's that. But we have a good time. We have the neighborhood kid, kids come over and friends come over and put their kids on them. We've been out. There's actually a kiddie track not too far from the house. We go take either, kids dirt bikes, 50s, 70s, stuff like that. The 3-wheeler, we'll go out there and run them around the kiddie track or up and around the hills around here.
Nice.
But it just has a blast, and that's the advantage, I think, of being in the desert is that you don't, it's not so regulated that kids still can't have a good time.
Right. That's awesome. That's a great place to grow up like that.
Yeah, the downside's the heat, of course, but
Yeah.
Well, what started this whole conversation of us sitting right here, the Razor. Me and Garrett rode over here in the Razor from our house.
Yeah.
I think it's about 12 miles, but
All off pavement.
all off pavement.
Nice.
But from Josh's house here, I don't know how far you can see there, or from our house, you can literally ride for hundreds of miles and not touch pavement.
Wow. That blows my
There's
mind.
stuff
You go to,
all
like,
over.
you can just jump out there and run to Vegas. And that's all public land, or are you cutting through? There's some areas just kind of they don't care, or
it's public trails from here to Vegas.
no shit.
Yeah, most of it.
That's awesome.
But even just riding around, there's California City is a huge campground.
Oh yeah, wintertime.
Wintertime, when people come out from, they said last year there was over 80,000 people for Thanksgiving. People come to Cal City, and I'll admit, I was the dumbass. I got a ticket in my side-by-side for not wearing a helmet the day after Thanksgiving.
Well, to be fair, nobody likes helmet laws in a car when you're running 4 points, and just out for a casual cruise. But that's the regulations of California.
Well, the
Yeah.
funny thing is, the helmet just happened to be the car behind him. He lent it to a buddy so he
Yeah.
can have communication and the built-in comm inside the helmet so we all could talk to each other.
And when we make it to our stop, you'll meet Frank. He's a good guy. But we had spent the night before putting all the comms in his stuff.
In a
Yeah.
brand new 2025 Polaris, putting a brand new comm and intercom in it, and
But we wanted to be able to talk. So
Sure.
I let him use my helmet. Me and my wife just went with headsets. Guess who got the ticket?
I'm sure on those long rides that it would be nice to have a helmet for a little noise dampening and to be able to talk.
Well, one of the things that's been an advantage, like all of us now, for the most part, if we can, we just run headsets.
Yeah.
So you do over-the-head headsets without the helmet, so you don't have to deal with the helmet weight. But having in-car comms it makes, when you're doing a desert excursion, it makes it a lot of fun because, you can, not only can you talk to your partner and listen to music, like my wife goes with me, or my wife and the kids go with me, or friends come with us, and you can have full in-car communications where you can have a conversation with all 4 people, and you don't have to listen to engine noise, all of that's drowned out by the headphones. And you get the music, but then if you want to, there's a push the talk button that you could talk car to car. If you got turns or obstacles come up, you can tell people they're coming, guide them through it, keep the group posted, hey, we're going to turn on such and such a road. So if they're hanging back to stay out of the dust, they know where to turn so they can stay with the group, but you don't have to stay right in the group and right in the dust. It makes riding a lot more.
It does. There's a lot of companies out there, but I'm gonna throw out Rugged Radio again. Rugged Radio really is the way to go. Like Josh here, starting a small business. Greg, man, I'm spacing it now. Greg, who's the owner of Rugged, he started out as a small business, and Rugged's known worldwide. Everybody uses Rugged radios. They just built a new taco stand in Arroyo Grande to go with their Their
with
shop.
store.
Yeah.
And if you've never been to Pismo, that's another really bitchin' place. I mean, it's not huge, but to go
Oceano.
on Oceano and go ride, do beach riding on the West Coast, there's only a few places you can do it on the West Coast. To be able to hit it and go down and cruise on the beach, hit the dunes, and still do some beach camping. It's a great place to just go hang out.
Awesome. I got a helmet question for you, but the people in the chat, some people are just jumping on, people jumping on and off.
Yeah.
Introduce your guys' self again and throw out your board names again, just for people that have came on a little late.
Oh, sure. Mac McCormick, I'm 1Sinner on the board, and this is
I'm Garrett Knight. I'm G9 1617.
Justin Knight, I'm 1617 crew chief on the board.
Nice. So you guys were talking about
So what-
helmets. Just
Yep.
to jump back to that.
Helmet, the only good thing about a helmet is when you're able to have a Parker pumper with that fresh air. It's like having AC built into your helmet.
Oh, I bet in those race setups, yeah.
That is a huge difference.
but what was the question?
What's the actual law on what you need? So you said you drove 12 miles in that side by side to get there. What's the law on what kind of helmet you need? Because I'm fairly sure I saw some people at King of the Hammers wearing just like those. A couple guys had those German fake military helmets that just sit on top of their heads. I'm like, does that pass, or do you need a full?
Yeah, it'll pass. It'll pass. I mean, that's generally all I run unless we're doing something really crazy. But
Yeah, no.
What's
as
I'm
long
not saying that's the
as long
best
as you
for
have
safety.
a helmet on the side by side, that is the law.
Well,
Technically, it's supposed to be a DOT rated.
And it depends on the side by side as well.
Well, side by sides are
'cause it
rated
is-
quads.
Yeah, side by side squads, dirt bikes.
Anything above 1,000 cc's, and our Polaris Razor XP 1000 is only what?
999.
99. So you're required a helmet, but the new,
Pro R.
the Pro Rs,
The Maverick R.
the bigger side by sides that are coming out, that's kind of why they did it, because they don't meet that spec over 1,000 cc's.
They're a sand car.
Gotcha.
Garrett's race car, if he goes out, and we're just, running around like our pre-run, we're running a 1,600 cc Volkswagen engine. He doesn't technically have to wear a helmet, but
Yeah, anything that's technically titled as a vehicle, as a car, doesn't have to have a helmet. Side by sides, motorcycles, quads, anything like that is required.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Well, cool. What else you guys got? What did you say you guys were drinking there?
I'm drinking a Modelo. I don't know what you're drinking.
I'm drinking Smirnoff lemonades.
Hey,
Sorry.
Hey, I gotta drive home.
it could be worse.
Fair.
Well,
I'm
cool.
not feeding me pickle shots yet.
That's true.
Did you say beet and pickle shots?
Have you never had a pickleback?
Oh, I've had picklebacks. I thought you said beet and pickle. Like-
No meat and pickle. That's later. After the pickle. That's after.
No, like beets. I thought someone was mixing beets and pickles together. That makes.
Oh, no.
Okay, I misheard. Well, cool. You guys got any other cool shit you want to show off, or any other funny stories?
I think that's about all I got for tonight, unless you have any other questions or the forum has any other questions. I'm just happy to be here. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate the time.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I just posted up there to see if anybody has any questions. We'll give them a half a second to reply, but the YouTube feed's always a little bit behind where you and I are talking. And for some reason,
Yeah.
there's a delay shipping it to them. But see if anyone's got anything here. And then, yeah, we'll definitely look for that thread, Justin and Garrett, and see it'll be a good time that we can jump in and check out your shop and that new build you're doing there.
Absolutely.
That'd be
Cool.
cool.
We'll set it up.
You know the one thing I hate about YouTube, the seeing the chat there, is that everybody's talking in their regular name, so I can't tell who's being a smartass and who's not. But and this may be a question for your wife, but they want to know why you're so attractive. Isn't it weird when the forum shit like comes out in life? Calls like this. And when's the Jeep gonna be finished?
Yeah, dude, I'm trying. So it's basically going to be in this configuration when we drag it up to the car show.
Yeah.
The goal is to have it mechanically done to take it up to the car show, but not running,
Yeah.
so that I can get it back after the car show, strip it, do the body work, paint.
Gotcha.
And then after that, it'll be done. I'm hoping by no later than November.
So we'll see you rolling around hammers this for the 20th anniversary this February.
That's
Maybe?
the goal.
Cool.
That's the goal. So,
And cousin
yeah.
Nate says your gift exchange Christmas gift was awesome.
Oh,
He appreciates that.
yeah, absolutely. That was a fun project.
What was that? What'd you make him?
If I remember right, that was it was a security box that was hidden, and you had a hidden key. It looked like something that you could sit on your mantle as just a decoration, but still hide stuff in.
Yeah. I think I saw
Money,
pictures of that.
remember.
Cool. All right. Well, appreciate you guys jumping on. Thanks for the tour, and we'll definitely be watching the build these last couple months as you wrap it up there. Hopefully, I know how it goes though. Well,
Well,
cool.
cheers, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Thanks, Austin. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good seeing you guys.
Thanks,
Take
guys.
it easy.
Thanks, Austin.
Yep. Later.